Hey, what's up guys, Aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2019 career mode, episode number 6 today for this Spanish Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the previous one, the Azerbaijan GP, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. But thankfully now, finally, after waiting since the very first episode, we have got these aerodynamic updates, the major front downforce and major rear downforce to the car. So, hallelujah, maybe this car might not actually be like a bit of a bus in qualifying, especially under one lap pace, and finally maybe we can have some actual genuine fun of driving the car around and actually feel like we have some genuine pace rather than just sort of like, oh, we're doing better in the race maybe, because the car definitely needed it, and this is a big jump because two major upgrades together, that's going to be a big leap forward. You can see we've opened up the R&D tree for the aero, so it looks like we've got some good tree and basically a next tier basically for the aero. We've got two minors either side and then one major either side for front and rear downforce. So that's a pretty nice tree. So the next couple upgrades for the aero department should be pretty quick and should be cheaper as well, because we've obviously got that one efficiency which makes everything go down by 10%. So happy I've done that efficiency actually in hindsight. But we now move into the Spanish Grand Prix weekend. It's going to be raining in practice here, you can see, and I think there's some forecasts for rain in the race. So we've had a lot of rain recently in this career mode. Not complaining though, because unlike last year, I seem to be pretty okay at the rain actually compared to the AI right now. But it's going to be just nice to drive around, and I did notice it in practice as well. Whilst we did the practice programs, I did kind of notice that, you know, instant kind of change of it's a little bit more responsive on the front end and is even more stable on the rear end. I mean, it was already pretty stable because that's just how the handling model is this year, but on the front end, definitely a bit more responsive, especially in Sector 3. So that's been pretty good. So speaking about qualifying, let's get into it then. Let's go to Saturday and see how we can do with driving this car in anger.
You join us today at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for what's bound to be a really hectic qualifying as the teams compete to set the best lap times. This is a track that tends to ask quite a lot of the tyres, both front and rear. So is it fair to say a great deal of management will be needed in order to do well here?
Tyre wear is always something you have to consider to a certain degree. Finding a good car balance that suits the circuit will help prolong the life of the tyre, but it's true that some circuits, such as this one, are more challenging than others. How hard you can push them depends on your strategy and how tight the battle is around you.
Right, so let's get into this flying lap then in Q1, and hopefully we'll be getting out of this damn session now at the end of it, you know, with these upgrades. And like I said, feeling these upgrades definitely in the turn-in response. Not as planted though as I wanted it through turns 3 there, because obviously in the top cars I'm sure that corner is flat in qualifying, but still having to lift a little bit with the Alfa Romeo car. But as we expected, obviously we're starting from pretty low, so even with two major upgrades, it's still going to be a bit of a climb in terms of R&D before we get to that point at Catalunya. But in general, just feeling good, and you can see through up the hill, not having to lift too much up that right-hander, and through the final corner, opening DRS, run to the line, and we're going to be up in P11. And when we get to the end of the garage, we're not going to even go down that much, down to P12, fast forwarding through this session, and we're going to go ahead and set another lap because we were at the bottom, we were at the end of the session. Basically, there's 2 minutes to go, so I thought with P13, just in case, I'll go and set another lap. But to my surprise, even with 2 minutes to go, the game told me I ran out of time, so it just basically had 5 red lights to go, and then I just stopped. Thankfully, look at that, P15, we just about get out of Q2. Raikkonen qualifying P14, so both myself and Kimi out of Q1. So surprise, surprise, the exact race where we get 2 major air updates on the front and the rear, we're out of Q1 for the very first time, both of us in tandem. Obviously, Kimi did it already at Bahrain, but both of us now out of Q1. What a coincidence. But yeah, that was a bit of an odd one. I thought 2 minutes would have been enough time to actually go out there, but apparently not. So I'll remember that for maybe later down the line, other episodes, maybe I want trying to go out late in qualifying. But anyway, now we're into Q2. Let's enjoy it. We're here for the first time in Q2 at the end of the Q2 session because I used 2 sets of tyres. Even if I didn't use them very much, I used 2 sets of tyres in Q1. So I only had one fresh run here for Q2 with a set of soft tyres here. So we're through to the end of the lap. DRS open. It's been a pretty okay lap, I feel, across the line. And what is it going to be? Where is it on the bottom left? P11. That is a very good qualifying time, and time-wise, it's actually not too much faster than Raikkonen. 2/10 covers from P15 to P10 there from Magnussen, 121 nearly dead, pretty much, and me 21 dead, to 121.236. Very close stuff, so just like real life, the midfield, very close indeed, apart from maybe really the Haas and the Renault kind of getting away. The Renault have done a madness there in Q2 to be ahead of Red Bull, so we'll see how that goes. Obviously, Red Bull have qualified the mediums, actually, so maybe that's the only difference there, but that's actually quite an ideal position for us if it was going to be dry in the race close though, because there's forecast for rain in the race at the very start at least, and probably for the entire race, unfortunately. So I would have said P11 amazing, because we can start on whatever tyre we want and kind of do something clever with the strategy, but we're going to be an all on inters. But still, really mega qualifying. You know, like I said, not a coincidence. The first time we get 2 error updates, what the car was lacking, we're able to pull the car through. P11, P15, it sounds bad for Kimi, but time-wise, he's really not that far off me. You know, 2/10 is a very typical gap in real life from teammate to teammate, so I'm not too worried about that, and hopefully Kimi can move forward in this race. So let's go through the Sunday. I think this could be a very good Grand Prix for both of us.
What does the Spanish Grand Prix have in store for us today, I wonder? I hope we see some tight wheel-to-wheel action down the main straight, circa Mansell and Senna way back in '91, or maybe we'll have a more strategic race here on a track where overtaking can be difficult. It's 730 metres from pole position down to a slippery turn 1 here, the first of 16 corners around this 2.89-mile racetrack. The long, wide turn 3 and the uphill right-hander of turn 9 can both be taken full throttle in the right conditions, but I doubt very much we'll be seeing any of that today. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, they'll be the ones that are better off.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, and Verstappen, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Grosjean, and the engineer, Perez, Sainz, Kimi Raikkonen, and Butler, Stroll, Ricciardo, Lucas Faber, and George Russell. Norris and Alexander Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, so going to the grid then for Sunday, and it is indeed raining here at the Spanish Grand Prix, and will be for the entire Sunday. So we have a full wet race ahead of us. Intermediates though, not full wets needed. So far we know how we do in intermediates, which is pretty good actually. We don't know what we are like on full wet tyres. We have to cross that bridge once we get to it, but should be hopefully pretty good. We've got these downforce upgrades, so hopefully some extra downforce to help in the rain, which we didn't have previously. We still went well. So let's just see how we do from P11, but feeling very, very positive about this. So here we go then to 5 red lights to this Spanish Grand Prix, the 5th round in the F1 season, and we're underway, and it is a good start for us there initially though. Then a bit of wheel spin in gears 3 and 4, and Perez is able to pull alongside us there in the Racing Point car, get us into turn 1. Can we dive him back into the inside of turn 1? We'll try our best, and also maybe Grosjean, but Grosjean not looking his mirrors. We nearly get completely squeezed off the circuit there. Thankfully just kept it on the curb, and we're going to remain in P10 as we get back ahead of Perez after he tried to go around the outside of turn 3, but a little bit twitchy on the rear end. So on heavy fuel loads, maybe not as planted as I wanted to. There's a side-by-side moment there between the Ferrari and Mercedes for the race lead, so that's getting very, very tasty in the front there, but we're just going to try and remain in P10 at least. Kimi is still there in, well, that's P11, 12, 13, so he's gained 2 places there, Kimi has. He's up from P15 to P13, so already you can see maybe the Alfa improvements made clearly, because Kimi now moving up the order rather than backwards, and we're going to try and move up the order as we again try and overtake Grosjean there, skating across the curb, and we're going to the inside, the right-hander up the hill. Really not a place where you usually overtake there in the wet, but we made it work as we both lift off and try and give each other room, and it's great racing so far on lap number 1, and we're up into P9 making good progress, and it might be more progress here through the last corner. Great exit, and we're going to try and chase after Hülkenberg now as well. So things are looking very, very good indeed at the moment. This car is coming alive a little bit, not just for me, but also for Raikkonen. But here we go, a little fake to the left, go to the right, then to the inside of Nico Hülkenberg in the Renault, but he's going to squeeze us a little bit as we start braking there. He's on the outside. Can we maybe switch it to the other side of the circuit? We brake a little bit early. Doesn't really work out for us. Don't get the exit I want, and then on the outside outside of turn 3. Don't quite have the grip I need, and we're going sideways now, having to drift through an opposite lock, so that probably wasn't the best decision. Probably should have stuck around the outside of turn 2 and got to the inside of turn 3, but oh well, you can see a lot of things in hindsight, and we'll learn from it. So now we're going to try again. Second time lucky on Hulkenberg. Great exit once again. No DRS, of course. It's actually, until now, DRS just got enabled right now. I don't know if you saw that there, so very, very odd. It's still raining, still intermediates, but the FI feel like it's safe enough for DRS, so that's very, very odd. You never see that in real life. I don't think we've ever had that, but there you go. But we finally made the move on the inside of turn 2, and we've got Hulkenberg, and we're up into P8. Now we can try and see if we can chase after Magnussen, but I say we would try and chase after Magnussen, but as we move on to lap number 7, we have a team radio coming.
We're looking at some gearbox wear. Try to keep your number of shifts to a minimum.
So that's a little bit ominous. I don't know what exactly that means and how bad the gearbox issue is right now, but we have some sort of wear on the gearbox here. Not too uncommon. Last year in F1 2018, I had a major gearbox issue at Monaco, so this actually happened one race earlier. So if anything, I've somehow got worse at the gearbox wear. There may have been a few aggressive shifts at places like Bahrain, perhaps, and Azerbaijan, but yeah, that wear is really quite quick, so maybe our car is just really brittle. Obviously, Raikkonen had 2 DNFs in a row, so probably is true. But on lap 9, we're going to come in. We've had no kind of gear issues right now, just tyre issues actually, because look at the rear left and also the rear right, both really bad, and so we have to come in for a bit of an earlier pit stop than I thought there was going to be for intermediates, because we have to go on 3 sets of inters in total, but this is quite an early stop for the first pit stop of 2 this afternoon. But so I don't know, maybe I can't really explain. Maybe the heavy fuel loads really put a damper on the rear tyres. No pun intended there. On the rear tyres, under power maybe, because that's a lot of tyre wear for intermediates, to be honest. So we're out on lap 10, so it's not too early, because obviously 10, you're almost at 33 laps there nearly. But now we're out in P19, fresh air though, so maybe this could get us a bit of an undercut, maybe on towards Kevin Magnussen, if we try and spin this the right way. As we move on to the end of lap 10, Sergio Perez, the man we overtook earlier on the Grand Prix, is going to be out of this race then with some sort of mechanical or engine issue as he parks up there on the left-hand side there. Sorry, Sergio, but we're going to have 1 free position there. Obviously, we already were ahead of him anyway before that. But now as we continue on and cut later to the start of lap number 11, you know how I said we weren't having any gearbox issues right now, even though our engineer said there was a bit of wear? Well, the issues started to come, because if we go down the gears into turn 1, you can see on the bottom right, I'm in 4th gear. I wanted to try and go down to 3rd gear, because that's what I was taking an apex at, and I just couldn't shift down. And what is happening is that the gear changes are being very, very delayed, and so the gearbox issues are starting to come, and they might just start to come thick and fast now.
Right, you may struggle to get into gear at the normal speed. We're seeing a fault with the gearbox. The gap to the car behind is 14.8 seconds.
So this is a potential disaster here now. What you can see is the gear changes are so delayed that my car is revving, because as I try to change up, I can't. I keep pulling my paddle on my wheel to change up, and the car stays in the gear it's in and takes so long that probably this issue is going to cause further issues, because I'm going to be wearing the gearbox, just revving it like hell right now, and the engine as well, but I can't do anything. I need to try and keep on accelerating. It's not like I can just slow down and lift off. I mean, I can, but I want to keep on racing, obviously, through the issue, so I'm revving the hell out of the car, trying to just keep on going, and so it's a major issue also under braking, because I can't change down fast enough for the gear I need, so I'm having to lift off a bit early and try and adjust my driving style to compensate for the fact I'm entering these corners with higher gears than I want, and I'm leaving the corners with lower gears than I want, and that's just going to do more damage to the car. But like I said, I could be lifting off and just coasting right now until the issue goes away, but I want to keep on racing, because the issue could go away. It's not going to last for the entire race, so it could go away, and then I could be fine. But right now, it's obviously an issue, and it is wearing out the car. But I want to continue on, because if it goes away, I'm still here in P15 behind Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg and myself were in points-paying position, so this could still be a good race for us. It's basically just a big hurdle we need to try and climb right now, and it's an issue in the wet even more so. So it would be fine, but gearbox issues in the drive, that's one thing. Gearbox issues in the wet as well, that's just another kettle of fish. So that's really annoying here, a lot of wear in the gearbox. You know, race 5, and it's already having issues. Last year, on last year's game, it was Monaco. This year seems to be Spain. But now the gears have come back, so they're all fine right now. So what did I say? The issue would go away, and now we can drive normally. I don't know if any other issue is going to come up, but for now, the issue is a non-issue anymore. But we can see now Hulkenberg tries to overtake a Haas car, and so that's now Grosjean down into P9. Hulkenberg with a nice move to the inside there, and we're closing up once again. So with the gearbox in kind of good shape now, we can start to close up, and the pace is going to start cropping up once again. So we can try and recover this. You know, we're not too far off that P8. Oh no, but now you can see there through that right-hander as we went through turn 3, I have lost 5th gear now, and the car snapped out as I moved to 6th gear. And obviously when the car's jumping one gear like that, mid-corner, accelerating, it's always obviously going to jolt out there. So now I've lost 5th gear, and I'm going to have to drive without 5th gear, which, to be fair, it's not the worst gear in the world to miss at Spain.
You've lost access to one of the gears. We've lost one of the gears due to a fault.
But it seems like now, I think the scenario is, to the end of this Grand Prix, we're about halfway done. Throughout this entire Grand Prix now, I guess I'm just going to have random other issues with this gearbox, and we're just have to try and drive through them. Like I said, though, I was about to say, we were P8, we're now P10, so we've not lost too much time in too many positions, so let's just try and keep on going, limit the damage with the gearbox issues we're having, and we could still get some points, you never know, in this race. And we've got DRS available, even though, I don't know if it opened it or not, but anyway, we had DRS indicated on the bottom right, but we are still catching up to Grosjean here now, even despite not having 5th gear, just kind of driving through. You can see lifting off a little bit, revving out 4th gear, having to wait to change up to 6th gear, then a little bit of jolt on the car, but we're making the best of it, basically. We're sticking with Grosjean and Hulkenberg, so we're doing a fantastic job, if I do say so myself, at driving through the issues. And as we move through there on lap 15, finally 5th gear comes back to me, and we're back to full health and working condition. DRS open, and Grosjean has DRS on Hulkenberg. It's 3 wide there, we're on the outside. Hulkenberg nearly squeezes us off circuit there, but look at this lovely little move around the outside of turn 1 to the inside of turn 2. Hulkenberg, though, gets his elbows out, pushes us wide, and so we're on the outside line, and it's not going to be great for us here because we didn't have too much grip earlier when we were trying to get around the outside Hulkenberg, and so we're still neck and neck, but at least we're racing them once again. So you can see once the car's fine and good, we have the pace to attack these guys, so we're still jostling with Hulkenberg. We're so close to the grass there on the left-hand side, but we're going to try and make it to the inside. We should be able to squeeze him out. Little bit of a drift there, but no contact still. Great racing between myself and Nico Hulkenberg, and we will get the power down earlier and get up into 8th place. So really good, back up to where we were essentially, chasing after Magnussen now, but obviously he's now miles ahead of us because of that time we lost with the gearbox issues. But at least for now, we're back to full health. I don't know how long we'll have a full health car for now. I'm just waiting now for the next gearbox issue because you know it's coming, because we've had 2 now in the span of like 10 laps. Or less than that, so at some point it probably will come to us, but Hulkenberg for now is the only issue I'm having to worry about as he comes back through with DRS. That Renault car, pretty good in straight line actually. Maybe I'm compromising too much on the aero, but obviously I did that for a good reason because we got the wet conditions, so I need to go a little bit higher on the aero, so that Renault not looking too bad down the main straight with DRS, but hopefully we can try and come back at Nico on the very next lap on lap 18 and basically just get back at him with DRS and do the exact same thing to him. We're a little bit further back from Hulkenberg than he was to us though on the previous lap, so this might be very close. We're gaining still into turn 1, but at the brake zone it's just not enough, and so we have to take it nice and easy and just try and creep behind him there, get behind up his gearbox, but for now we can't make that move, so we have to live to fight another day on towards lap 19 probably, because I don't see us making a move in sector 2 or sector 3 to be honest, and Grosjean, sorry, is still very much behind us, giving us pressure as well, so we'll have to watch out for that. But as we go through on towards lap 19...
Okay, this is Jeff, update on the car. The gearbox is damaged. Gearbox is damaged. You're right, you find gear changes slower.
And so it's another disaster in this Grand Prix. The second time we've had jammed gears, or not a jammed gear, delayed gear. And so we're down to P10. Grosjean able to overtake us very easily as we lost the rear end through the last corner when the gear delayed. And then it's the same thing we had previously. I can't change up fast enough. I can't change down fast enough. And also at the same time, the rear tyres are going off. Look at that rear left tyre, again worn. So I've got tyre wear to deal with, and I've also got a gearbox issue to deal with. So not looking great at the moment here. And Carlos Sainz is closing up to me. Look at that front left tyre. The tyre carcass temperature inside is very hot. And again, that sound of the engine revving is just not great. You can see the internal combustion engine's also wearing out. So it's a really difficult issue to drive with, because this gearbox issue, like I said, is just causing more issue. And now Sainz tries to go around outside. What on earth are you doing, man? I know it's your home Grand Prix and you want to do well, man, but you don't need to try and be a hero around the outside there. and break a bit of your front wing. You know, you would have got me in a straight line here at this very straight. Instead, I've got DRS, and with a jammed 6th and 5th gear, I'm trying to go around the outside of Carlos Sainz and re-overtake him, but in the end, obviously, I can't change down from 4th in time there, and we have to give up the position and just have a lot of understeer. But yeah, this isn't great. As you can see, they're losing the back end, and yeah, we're just losing a lot of pace now, and especially now, it feels more awkward than last time because the car's lighter, so the car wants to go faster than previously, and so the issue is harder to drive with because the car's trying to go faster, and so the gear delay is made that much worse. And also because we lost way more time in this issue because of when we lost it. We lost it through the last corner on the main straight. Grosjean was past us, so it's just very annoying as well. And I'm just kind of waiting for the issue to kind of go away. And it maybe seems like it did actually, I think, on that straight. Yep, there we go. We've got the gears back into turn 1. I can change down fast now. And so the issue has gone away. And so we've got a healthy car once again. So let's go ahead and re-overtake Carlos Sainz. He's got damage on the front left. So we should be able to overtake him, no issue. But the rear end squirms a little bit there. So we're just trying to get not to get too eager. Because obviously we still need to contend with the fact it's intermediate conditions, so still tricky. But Carlos Sainz does have damage on the front end, so we should be able to do this. But really, the rear end's getting very loose now as the tyre wear kicks in. But here we go, round the outside now of Sainz. He's going to squeeze us, though. We go around the outside, though, tiptoeing round, giving them space, though, as we're a little bit wide. And we will just about cut across and get it back up into P10. So we're still in the points-paying positions despite the gearbox issues. 3 gearbox failures or issues, and we're still in this race. We're still on the points. I say that is a pretty damn good effort, if you don't mind me saying, basically, I think. But now we move on to lap 21 then. We're getting away from Carlos Sainz because he's really hitting a wall and cliff on tyre wear and damage to his front wing. He gets overtaken by Ricciardo there, you can see on the top left then. Grosjean is quite a fair way away from us, so I think right now we're kind of have to settle for P10 probably in this race, probably knowing we have another gearbox issue to come our way. And oh no! And now we've just got a puncture on the rear left. Are you kidding me? Our Spanish Grand Prix could not have any more issues. We had 3 gearbox issues and now we're in the gravel and the car is tilting to the left-hand side as it wobbles through on the puncture on the rear left, and things are not looking good. I'm trying to drive as fast as I can, and I probably shouldn't be doing that, but I'm getting very hot-headed in the cockpit. I've spun round, I'm facing the wrong way. 4 cars have narrowly missed T-boning me and having a front-on collision with me because I'm doing a Leclerc at Monaco, basically. I'm being too hot-headed and getting angry at the situation, basically. But I was angry, and you can see it's all gone. It's gone to my head, and now we've broken the front wing because, again, I'm trying to accelerate very fast with a puncher, and I've just pulled a Leclerc, basically, at Monaco. The red mist has descended because, you know, like I said, 3 gearbox issues, and then I go through that corner, and we've only done 1 more lap than the previous stint, and that's what gave us a puncture. Like, I didn't think the intermediates were going to be this delicate on F1 2019, but apparently they are, so that's a big warning to everyone else out there. Don't drive on the intermediates for too long, because they really don't go. They probably have less life than the dry tyre counterparts. But yeah, not looking very good with the puncture now, and yeah, the temperatures are off the scale. So we've had, what, 3 gearbox issues, 1 puncture, and now we've span it twice as we get back to the pit lane. This has been the worst in-lap ever with the puncture. Yeah, I definitely have. I've had better days. I've had better days on the F1 game. So we're going to come through, change the tyres. We're P18. We just broke the other half of the front wing. We come in then, and I'm surprised we even made the speed limit there. But there we go. Our car hobbling in on the left rear, going inwards on itself. Obviously having that puncture. We'll change the tyres onto another set of intermediate to the end of the Grand Prix. But it's looking pretty dismal. I can't lie. So yeah, 3 gearbox issues, 1 puncture, 2 spins, and now we're last place, or pretty much last place, because I think the guy who's behind us is Sergio Perez, who's out of this Grand Prix. Yes, it is. So we are literally stone dead last, 19th out of 19, and we're nowhere near anyone. Like, Alexander Albon is the next car, and he is miles away from us. So yeah, on the next lap, pretty much I decided, you know, we've got a worn gearbox, a worn internal combustion engine, which I don't want to wear anymore, and the other parts also are starting to wear, like the turbo, the MGUH, the MGK. I thought on lap 23, you know what, I'm nowhere near anyone. I can't even race Albon for, like, pride of P18. what is the point of continuing on? I may as well save the car. So I'm going to take the decision that probably a lot of teams would make in real life at this point, you know, where everything is lost. There's no hope of getting anything out of this race. You may as well save the car. So I'm going to come in now into the pit lane, and we're just going to simply drive into the pit box, and we're going to retire at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's the executive decision, the clever decision, I think, to save the other parts. The internal combustion engine might be gone, the gearbox is gone, but the other parts are still there, and they're still going to get worn if we do 10 more laps on them in the car that we've got a condition with. So, going to retire, and that's going to be the end of our Spanish Grand Prix.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today. It's always a bit of a lottery when the conditions are like this, but they've managed to stay on circuit and have come out on top.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Well, things didn't really go your way today. Let's have your take. You've had experience with Devon's fast, aggressive style. Any advice for the drivers he passed today?
Well, following that pretty dismal race that could have been good but was a disaster, I wasn't feeling like talking too much, so I'm just going to go with the short answer. Go faster.
That crash looked pretty serious. Can you walk me through what happened?
Well, I'm not too sure which crash Claire's talking about. If it was the one where I smashed my front wing off, I'm going to say the car just didn't feel right and I lost control, which is true. Obviously not in the way they probably think with the chassis.
Did you feel comfortable in the wet weather today?
And of course, yes, I did feel comfortable in the wet weather, but that didn't matter in the end because the gearbox failed 3 times and then we had the punches. So, yeah, it just, yeah, we're going to go with the left-hand side answer, showmanship.
Great. Well, that's everything.
So that ends off, like I said, a miserable Spanish Grand Prix. Disaster for us. Could have been some good points. Raikkonen struggled later on that race, unfortunately, after having such a good start. He overtook 3 cars at the very start in the opening lap, and then he looks like he struggled for later on in the Grand Prix, and so that means we moved down to P7. So we've been brought back down to earth a little bit by the other teams this race. And we're back down to probably where we should kind of be in the constructors at this point with our performance level on the R&D chart. But yeah, a race to forget. And we're now also thinking about it, going to have to take a gearbox penalty also at the Monaco Grand Prix. Because, of course, we've not even made the 6 race length for the Monaco for the gearbox. So, Monaco, 5-place grid penalty. That's already going to be a very interesting race now, Monaco. It's already interesting anyway in the F1 game, but now even more so with the 5-place grid penalty. And I don't even feel like reading the transcripts, to be honest, this episode, because I'm not in the mood. Like I said, at the time of recording, I was so hot-headed. Like I said, I literally did a Leclerc and just I tried to go too quickly back to the pit lane. If I didn't do that, I might have actually been able to maybe fight someone in that race and finish the race, but because I absolutely messed it up and got too angry with it, it just, yeah, ruined everything. So anyway, we're going to have to talk about R&D then before we round out the episode. Of course, we've got some still good points to play with, and now we've also got the rest of the aero tree to look at, so we're going to go ahead and purchase a minor front downforce and minor rear downforce. Those are only going to take now 1 week to come in because of our new contract. So next episode, Monaco, we're going to get even more downforce, hopefully, unless they fail, but hopefully I'm just jinxed that, but we're going to get more downforce from Monaco, so that's going to be great, and we're going to need all the downforce we can get because we need to counteract a 5-place grid penalty for changing the gearbox at that race, but you know, positives, it was going well until the issue. So that's a positive we're going to take away. But we have a lot of work to do now at Monaco because of that gearbox issue. But guys, if you did enjoy what was, I'm sure, an entertaining episode for you guys to watch at least, a little bit less so for me for driving at the time, be sure to smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, to subscribe for weekly full-on content. I've been aarava. Hope you enjoyed today. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.